Everything appeared normal on the surface, but something significant was changing behind the scenes. One of the world's largest automobile companies lost $26 billion. Not because of a recall, nor because of a disaster. It was because of a bet on the future that didn't pay off quickly enough. Factories are slowing down. The number of electric vehicles is increasing. Investors are pulling back. The companies that produce the modern world's automobiles suddenly began asking themselves, did they miscalculate the future of the automobile? A $26 billion story. It begins with a bet on the future and ends with the realization that the future had different plans. Stellantis. The name doesn't exactly roll off the tongue. Most people don't know what it is, but they know the brands: Jeep, Ram, Dodge, Peugeot, Fiat, Chrysler. These are just some of the 14 brands spread across nearly every continent that sell millions of vehicles a year. This is one of the world's largest automakers. It is the fourth biggest by volume. Its legacy has been built over more than a century of steel, combustion engines, and the cultural mythology of the American road. In 2025, however, it recorded one of the most brutal financial hits in automotive history. $26 billion. Written down, evaporated. Not from a recall, not from a scandal. It was lost due to something quieter yet far more dangerous: miscalculation. In a single year, the company's stock collapsed by more than 40%. Investors fled. Credit agencies started asking uncomfortable questions. Inside the C-suite, executives began using words like strategic realignment and demand normalization, corporate code for "we got this wrong." But what exactly did they get wrong? Electric vehicles. More specifically, they misjudged the speed at which the world would want them. Let's rewind 5 years. It's 2020. The world is in lockdown, and the automotive industry is facing an existential crisis. Governments across Europe, Asia, and North America are implementing strict climate policies. Emission standards were tightening. Bans on combustion engines are being announced for 2030, 2035, and 2040. The message is clear: the gasoline era is ending. What about investors? They're watching Tesla's stock price defy gravity. A company that barely turns a profit is suddenly worth more than Ford, GM, and Volkswagen combined. The market is screaming one thing: electric is the future, and anyone not racing toward it will be left behind. So when survival is on the line, legacy automakers do what legacy automakers do. They pivot hard. Stellantis announced a $50 billion investment in electrification by 2030. Volkswagen is committing $100 billion. GM says it will phase out combustion engines entirely by 2035. Ford splits its business into two divisions, one for the past and one for the future. Every major manufacturer is retooling factories, retraining workers, and redesigning supply chains. Production lines built for engines and transmissions are dismantled. Billions are poured into battery technology, charging infrastructure, and software integration. This isn't just a product refresh, it's an industrial metamorphosis. It's happening at a speed the auto industry has never attempted before. But here's the problem with basing everything on a forecast. Reality doesn't care about your PowerPoint presentation. By 2024, the cracks will start to show. Electric vehicle sales are growing, yes, but not at the predicted rate. In the US, electric vehicles make up about 9% of new car sales. In Europe, it's closer to 15%. China is ahead, but even there, growth is slowing. Consumers are hesitating, and they have good reason. The cars are expensive. A decent electric SUV costs $55,000. Most families can't afford that. Financing it at 8% interest makes matters worse. The charging infrastructure is uneven. If you live in a city, you might be fine. But if you live in rural Texas or Montana, good luck finding a fast charger within 50 miles. Range anxiety is real. People don't want to plan their road trips around charging stations. They want to fill up in 5 minutes and keep moving like they have for the last 100 years. Then there's the question of resale value. No one knows what a 5-year-old electric vehicle is worth. Battery degradation is unpredictable. Replacement costs are high. So people wait, they hesitate, they keep driving what they have. While they wait, automakers are stuck holding billions of dollars in electric vehicle inventory that's selling more slowly than projected. Now, imagine that you are Stellantis. After spending years and tens of billions of dollars, you've transformed your manufacturing base to build electric Jeeps, Rams, and Fiats. You've hired engineers, you've signed contracts with battery suppliers, you've promised investors how many EVs you'll sell by 2025. And then 2025 arrives, and the demand isn't there. Not because the cars are bad, not because the technology failed, but because the market moves slower than the forecast, because consumer behavior is complex, irrational, and impossible to predict with precision. So now you have factories running below capacity, dealer lots stacked with EVs that aren't selling, profit margins collapsing because electric vehicles cost more to build and bring in less revenue than the high-margin trucks and SUVs you used to print money with. And your stock price starts to fall. Not because you did something catastrophically wrong, but because you're caught in the gap between what the future was supposed to look like and what it actually looks like. That gap is where $26 billion disappears. Here's what makes this especially brutal. The car industry operates on razor-thin margins. A good year might bring 5% profit. A bad year wipes that out entirely. There's no room for error, no cushion for miscalculation. And the transition from combustion to electric isn't just about swapping one technology for another. It's about rebuilding everything. Supply chains, workforce skills, dealer networks, service infrastructure. It costs more money than most people realize, and it has to happen while you're still selling the old products to fund the new ones. It's like renovating a house while you're still living in it, except the house is a $200 billion global manufacturing operation, and the renovation is happening during an economic slowdown. Stellantis isn't alone in this. Ford just announced it's scaling back EV production targets. GM is delaying battery plant openings. Volkswagen is closing factories in Germany for the first time in its history. Even Tesla, the company that made everyone panic, is seeing slower growth and falling margins. This is an industry-wide recalibration, a collective realization that the transition is real, but it's going to take longer, cost more, and hurt worse than anyone wanted to admit. And here's the deeper truth beneath all of this. Industries don't collapse overnight. They erode, slowly, invisibly, in ways that look like normal business adjustments until you zoom out and see the pattern. Stellantis isn't bankrupt. It's not going away tomorrow, but it is weaker than it was. Its market value has been cut in half. Its profit outlook is grim. Its strategic flexibility is shrinking. And in an industry where scale is survival, where you need billions in cash reserves to weather downturns and invest in the next generation of technology, weakness is dangerous. Because the auto industry is Darwinian. It always has been. Over the last century, hundreds of car brands have disappeared. Packard, Studebaker, Saab, Pontiac, Saturn. Brands that were once household names erased by market shifts they couldn't adapt to fast enough. Stellantis has legacy. It has brands people love, but legacy doesn't guarantee survival. Ask Kodak, ask Blockbuster, ask any company that read the future correctly but moved at the wrong speed. There's something almost tragic about watching a company get the prediction right but the timing wrong. Because Stellantis did understand that electric vehicles are the future. They did invest. They did transform. They made the hard decisions that short-term thinkers avoid. But they assumed the market would move faster than it did. They assumed government mandates would force adoption. They assumed consumers would embrace the change enthusiastically. And they were wrong. Not completely, but enough that the gap between expectation and reality became a $26 billion crater. This is the cost of transformation. It's messy, it's expensive, and it punishes the early movers almost as much as it punishes the ones who refuse to move at all. So what happens now? Stellantis is cutting costs, delaying new models, closing plants, offering early retirement packages, renegotiating supplier contracts, all the things companies do when they need to survive a storm they didn't see coming. CEO Carlos Tavares, the man who engineered the merger that created Stellantis in the first place, is under pressure. Investors are questioning the strategy, unions are protesting, dealers are frustrated. The company that was supposed to be a consolidation success story is starting to look like a cautionary tale. But here's the thing, Stellantis still has time. It has brands people recognize. It has manufacturing expertise. It has a global footprint. What it doesn't have anymore is the luxury of getting the next phase wrong, because the auto industry is entering a period of selection. Not every manufacturer will make it to the other side of this transition. Some will merge, some will be acquired, some will quietly fade into irrelevance. The companies that survive will be the ones that can balance two contradictory demands. Keep making profitable combustion vehicles to fund the business today, while also investing in electric technology for the business tomorrow. And they have to do it without running out of cash, without losing customer trust, and without falling so far behind that they can't catch up. That's not a business strategy, that's a high-wire act. And the strangest part? Most people driving to work this morning have no idea any of this is happening. They see the same Jeep commercials, the same Ram truck ads, the same dealerships on the corner. From the outside, everything looks normal. But beneath the surface, the entire structure of the global auto industry is shifting. The assumptions that held for 100 years, combustion engines, dealer networks, model year cycles, are all being questioned at once. And nobody knows exactly what the industry will look like in 10 years. Will it be dominated by a few massive players? Will Chinese EV manufacturers sweep in and take market share the way Japanese automakers did in the 1980s? Will software companies like Apple or Google enter the space and redefine what a car even is? The only certainty is that it won't look like it does today. Stellantis made a $26 billion bet on the future, and the future said, not yet. Not never. Just not yet. And that delay, that gap between vision and reality, is where companies bleed, where stock prices collapse, where empires that seemed unshakable start to fracture. This isn't the end of Stellantis, but it might be the end of the version of Stellantis that thought it could predict the market with precision. The version that believed in 5-year plans and investor presentations, and the idea that transformation happens on schedule. Because transformation doesn't happen on schedule, it happens when it happens. And the companies that survive are the ones that can absorb the chaos, adapt in real time, and keep moving even when the road ahead is invisible. The auto industry is entering that invisible road now, and we're all just passengers watching to see who makes it through.